So you want to know where the schools are better. Are they better in Virginia or are they better in Maryland? Today we're going to do a deeper dive on the public schools and we're going to compare Virginia and Maryland to each other. And I actually did a very in-depth video on both Montgomery County in Maryland as well as Fairfax County in Virginia. So check those out. There's a couple Montgomery County videos. There's also Fairfax County. I did one on Arlington and I also did one on the city of Alexandria. So Arlington and the city of Alexandria are their own separate school districts. So I am Melissa Terzis, DC Real Estate Mama. I have our cheerful bundle of joy and happiness with me today. What's your name, small fry?
Leah.
Leah. Yeah. And Leah is going to be my assistant today as we talk about the schools in Maryland and Virginia and find out which one's better. So I'm going to zero in for this purpose on the two most popular school districts, which really are Fairfax County and Montgomery County in Maryland. And the reason being is they're often the two districts that go head to head. Now, let's dive into a little bit of background to get you up to speed. And again, there's other videos on Fairfax and Montgomery, so check those out probably before you do this one, which is the comparison video. So one of the largest school districts in the country is Fairfax County in Virginia. Leah, how many schools are in the Fairfax County School District?
199.
That is a lot of schools, 199. So at these schools, students can take the International Baccalaureate or the AP, so IB or AP classes in high school, but that's not all. There are magnet schools, there are STEM schools, there are academies that offer a school within a school, and the #1 high school in the country is also in Fairfax County. That is Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. This is a 4-year magnet program that was created in 1985 to offer more improved education in science, math, and technology. This school is very highly regarded. Now, Montgomery County has how many schools, Leah?
211.
211. And they offer both what they call by right schools as well as regional and county-wide programs. Students can enroll there in language immersion programs for French, Spanish, and Chinese. There are magnet middle schools, which offer digital design, performing arts, and aerospace technology. At the high school level, the choices kind of blow wide open. Many high schools are going to offer the AB and AP and IB, as I said, as well as career-related programs. And you don't have to be in boundary for these because a lot of them are application-based. Some of them sort of limit to just the geographic area. So it might say this high school plus these 10 surrounding high schools. Some of them might be open county-wide. So they all just have kind of different levels of what you need to check out before you were to apply to them. Now, if you think politics does not have any type of influence in the school district, think again. I had no idea that this was actually a thing and that politics transferred over into schools the way they do. As somebody who actually despises politics and kind of all things political, I really never would have believed this, but it has proved to be true. So generally, you should know that people will say Montgomery County is maybe more liberal and Democratic leaning, and people will say that Virginia is, as a whole, that Virginia is more conservative and Republican leaning. But you have to take Northern Virginia out of that. That's not really the case for Northern Virginia, where Fairfax County is located. So it's just something to kind of maybe think about in the back of your head. But as we sort of go through this, we're actually going to see that you're not really going to feel a ton of that in Fairfax County, at least not from a conservative aspect, not until you get to counties that are further west and south, will you sort of see kind of more underlying themes there. So, and then obviously, is this good or bad? It depends on your child and your family, and it depends on what the sort of things happening in the schools really are and how they address them. So we're going to talk now about academics and curriculum. In Fairfax County, the school board has a lot of input on the curriculum. Fairfax County is pretty transparent about their curriculum. The instruction that they offer is guided by the Virginia Standards of Learning, which the acronym is SOL, so do with that what you would like. That information can be found on the Virginia Department of Education website. So what does that mean? Well, it means it's not Common Core. ish. They have their own standards of learning, and they did not sort of buy into the Common Core stuff. They also have a separate advanced academics program. It requires paperwork, parental sign-off, and school review and approval. It's not as straightforward as there are sort of various levels to it as well. There's level 1, then there's level 2 and 3, which are like at the school level, but they are, you know, maybe your kid would be like pulled out for one or more subjects. And then there's level 4, which means maybe your child is at the highest level of advanced academics, and if their school doesn't offer the level 4, they may actually tell you, like, you have an option to send your kid to this other school over here, and then you would have that as an option. So equitable outcomes are the latest of the initiatives to come from Fairfax County as of October 2023. We are not going to see this only in Fairfax County. Montgomery County was the subject of a very infamous 2018 Johns Hopkins audit, where Johns Hopkins found that English and math in Montgomery County, the curricula was unsatisfactory. Fewer than 1/3 of the students understood math for their grade level, and fewer than 1/4 understood their English language arts for their grade level. So they revamped the curriculum, but it still makes a lot of use of screens and programs. It does not appear to offer textbooks. This isn't different than what we're seeing in DC either. So, you know, do with that what you will. And it was also unveiled kind of right as COVID was happening, which means, you know, it wasn't maybe implemented from the get-go as effectively as maybe it could have been or should have been. So Montgomery County does focus on differential instruction in the classroom, but they have moved towards some subjects kind of being this honors for all, or implementing what they call the 50% rule, which is also kind of known as equity-based grading, right? So this is where a 0 isn't a 0, it's a 50%. Now, that's still a failing grade for you and I and for the student in question, but the rationale was given that the students who maybe screwed up on one exam or kind of had something going on maybe at home or in their life, and they got a 0, that they could never recover from that even if they got 100 on the second one. So they give them the 50, because then if they get 100, at least they'd come out with a C average. And they would say that's more representative of what the student actually achieved and learned in the course. So anyway, normally I don't really know, like I have kind of kicked this idea around, like I get it and I get the reasoning why they're doing it, but in a normal like adult professional world, like where can you do nothing but still get half the credit, half the promotion, half the paycheck? Like that doesn't really happen in the real world. So, and this is the argument against this sort of policy. And that's the same with honors for all. They created essentially like a base level honors designation in some subjects to what some people say will be to tinker with metrics, right? So if you have a higher percentage of students in honors classes, then it can't be inequitable, can it? Let's make everybody an honors student, and then we're not having equity issues with some kids are getting access to more education than others are. Okay, so there's an excellent thread on Reddit from a Montgomery County teacher, and there's actually a lot of chiming in. I'm not going to dive into that, but it was fascinating to read. I am going to link that in the comments. And link that in the blog post as well as in the post here. But essentially it is how MCPS is ruining education for students. So that is worth a read. Now let's move on to administration. If Montgomery County Public Schools were invited to Festivus, Frank Costanza would scream, "I've got a lot of problems with you people." Do you know Frank?
No.
Oh God, this child. You must watch Seinfeld, Leah, every episode 50 times so that you know all the words backwards and forwards like your mother.
We have a Seinfeld CD right there.
Sure do. All right, so Montgomery County used to be one of like the best school districts in the country. But you've got discipline problems that are sort of plaguing much of the country's schools, and that is also rampant in Montgomery County. Now, current superintendent Monifa McKnight started as an interim position in June of 2021 and was appointed to a 4-year term in February of 2022. One of her first letters to the school community, I covered this also in the MoCo video, but we're gonna touch on it quickly here, stated, "One of my top 3 priorities is rebuilding community trust in MCPS. I am committed to transparency and responsiveness as we work to address our challenges and celebrate our many strengths." I almost know that by heart. So, school safety, communication, transparency, increasing teacher autonomy, improving special education services, hiring more teachers, reducing class sizes. These were some of the issues that were named by Montgomery County public school families as things that the school system could do instantly, like one thing they could do to just make everything better. That was a lot of what was cited. So there is a central office for Montgomery County where all the programs originate, and the ideas that are coming from here right now are rumored to get rid of differentiated classrooms, or what they call tracking. So that is when we were little and you know that some kids were ahead and some kids were behind. They would come and pull those kids out and bring them to the appropriate resource teacher for maybe added work or explaining the work or whatever they needed. They're now talking about potentially getting rid of all of that.
What?
It doesn't affect you. You don't live in Montgomery County.
Oh.
Now, at the Festivus table, there's a seat for Fairfax County too. So they'd be seated right next to Montgomery County because over in Fairfax, the story is somewhat the same. Superintendent Michelle Reed is relatively new. She's held her position just over a year, and she has been the maker of such popular decisions like spending $455,000 on an equity consultant who provided 9 months of contract work. The result of that consultant was that Fairfax County Public Schools needed to ensure equitable outcomes. Both districts are implementing some sort of restorative justice, and we've talked about that as well. And both districts have relatively new superintendents who have already jettisoned some of their original staff. So, growing pains in both places, but hopefully these women can kind of return each individual school district to what it was known for. Now, which one's better, Montgomery County or Fairfax? So shockingly, right now, they are actually more alike than they have ever been. Other than the different curriculum, which Virginia Standards of Learning versus Montgomery County is kind of piecemeal, a la carte, Common Core-ish thing they have going on. They're both headed in the same direction with restorative justice, equal outcome, and honors for all. That said, the only people who have really strong opinions about Maryland versus Virginia are the natives who are from here. So, like Dad loves Maryland. He was born in Maryland, raised in Maryland, and said he would never live in Virginia.
What?
I am not from here. I would live on either side of the river. It really kind of doesn't matter to me. I would find my home on either side. It wouldn't make a difference. It's not Connecticut, so it's not going to be where I grew up.
I live in Virginia.
You would? Oh, okay. Leah would live in Virginia. Well, Dad can come visit you. So anyway, what it really boils down to is that you just have to find the place that makes the most sense for your family in terms of amenities, and that you probably can't make a decision on Montgomery County or Fairfax County based on schools alone, with the exception if you've got a student or students who are focused on some sort of particular career track, and then it makes sense because the schools on one side or the other maybe offer something specific to that. So that is our video. I am Melissa Tarzis. This is Leah.
If you live in Virginia, I'll be there.
We are checking out. Our contact info is
coming next.
Coming next.
Bye.
Wanna hear you go.